Hi guys, welcome back. So what we're going to do is unbox the Bann Valley Sunray pack. So Sunray Shadow was a fly invented, I think, by a guy called Ray Brooks, and it has caught tens of thousands of salmon across the world. So it's essentially like a sand eel type imitation pattern, and it seems to be fished in certain different ways. Some people fish it very, very square across the river and strip very hard on sinking lines, and it can provoke fairly violent reactions out of fish. It's fished in different sizes as well. So some of the Scandinavian countries will fish quite big ones at times. So I've seen them up to, and I've tied them for guys up to 15 centimeters long, but standard there's probably about 10 or 12 centimeters. In the UK, people may fish them a little bit smaller. Up to yourself. I've seen them down as far as about 60 mil, but much below that they tend to lose the form. So, what have we got? So we have our tying instructions. So we shall see what we've got to tie it on. So it is a tube fly. So we have some plastic slipstream type tubes. So this is our tube. If you look, you can see that the two ends are flared. So this one's actually lined, but this end here is flared for the head so that your tying silk doesn't fall off the front. And this end at the back is flared so that you can put on a junction tubing. So we also have junction tubing, which is like essentially like a silicone type tubing, and that's there to hold the hook. But if you wanted to, what you could is actually insert your hook right into the back of this tubing as well. Just depends on the fit between the size of the hook and the eye of it that you want to use and the tubing that you're using. So you take your tubing and you essentially push this up to the back of it and slide it into it, and then you end up with this flexible junction, and this holds your hook. So if we cut that off, we then end up with this little hook holder at the back. So that's essentially what our fly is tied on. This fly also doesn't have a body, although if you want you could use some sort of silver or pearl type tinsel and create an accent at the front. So essentially then that means that this fly is all wing. So what's in the wing? So we have some white bucktail. So this is natural white bucktail. As you can see, we have a tuft of the natural colour here as well on this patch. It just depends on which bit of the bucktail that your patch comes from. So generally we have this as the supporting wing. So this will go on as the first part of the wing. It keeps the other wing up above it, and it also to a certain extent will keep the wing out of the hooks and creates that sort of white underbelly. I think the original one possibly used either just natural here or like a squirrel almost. But the modern sort of tradition is more for the white bucktail. So the wing then is a mixture of black furs. Generally, depends how long the fly is going to get, but in the really big ones you need to be using goat. So we have here a couple of different patches of black fox, and we can use these depending on the length of the fly that we're going to tie. So you can use this as a supporting wing, put your wing in. The bigger the fly, the more parts you can put into the wing, layer it up and get your length out of it. So what we're looking for essentially is a lot of the yard hair for length rather than the under fur, so we can always strip it out. So we have two patches here, slightly different in structure, and then I can mix and match between them, as I said, to create the wing. What else can you use this for? I suppose anything, any sort of salmon fly that has a black wing, essentially. So cascades and parks and those sorts of things. You can also use this stuff as dubbing. or you could even use it in a trout fly as the tail of a trout fly if you wanted to. And then for the top of the wing we have peacock herl. So we have a packet of peacock herl here. These are already stripped off the feather, and for the top of the wing we'll put on a few of these strands across it. Now, if you're into trout fly time, you can also use these for making nymphs and a variety of other things. So multi-use again. So I think what we'll do now is we'll set it aside and we'll have a go at tying the fly itself.